I've heard worship leaders say, if I just worship, people will follow. Myth or truth? Coming up next. Welcome to another episode of Worship Myths. I'm Heather Nunn with Prophetic Company Worship, your source for recognizing and responding to the voice of God in and through worship. And I'm here today again with my amazing sister, Bethany Hicks. Beth, we've got a myth to decide if it's myth or truth.
Okay.
How do you respond when you hear worship leaders say, if I just worship, people will follow?
Right. I totally understand what they're saying because obviously the point of worship is to worship. And so as a worship leader, obviously our priority is to be able to worship the Lord. And so there's this idea out there that if I just am a worshiper, if I'm giving it all I got, then everyone else will naturally and intuitively just join with me and come with me. And we've all kind of experienced and seen that throughout the years, but there have been a lot of times when I've seen people on that stage worshiping their whole hearts and the entire congregation is just watching and disengaged and sitting down. Now, what is that? Is that the congregation who's messing up, or who's just, it's their fault, or what's going on in that kind of a situation?
One of the things that's really important to remember as worship leaders is like that time and that space is really serving the people. It's not really serving ourselves. And while we need to be inspired like by our own worship and our own worship life, like when we get to the place where it's actually time to serve other people, it's actually not about what we can get, but it's actually about what we can get and who we can bring with us. And one of the keys I found is keeping your eyes open as much as you can, which sometimes seems maybe counterintuitive because we want to be focusing on God. It's almost like, leading worship is a little bit like that, where you're connected to heaven, you're hearing what the Lord is saying, but you're also connected horizontally, so you can tell whether or not people are actually following you.
Right. I like to train my teams when they're leading worship to really see that being a worship leader is really the fulfillment of the greatest commandment, which is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and then to love your neighbor as yourself. So what does that look like? As a worship leader, as a worshiper, I'm loving the Lord, my God, with all my heart, with all my mind, soul, and strength. So it's really that connection I have with the Lord. But then when you love your neighbor as yourself, that's the leader part of being a worship leader. So that is really engaging with the people. It's not disengaging, but it's actually engaging with them, bringing them with you into that encounter that you're having in worship, kind of that no man left behind kind of idea. Like I'm following him, but I'm also horizontally, I'm paying attention to what's going on in the atmosphere, as you said, and we're bringing people together with us to that expression of worship as a corporate body.
So, would you say that that is a myth or a truth?
I think in this particular case, Heather, to me, it's not an either or, it's really a both and, because you could have the most perfectly in sync band up here, and the people still aren't engaging because they're not worshiping. And I've been in worship sets where it sounded terrible, but the people on the band, because of their hearts to worship, it was causing others to engage. So I think it gets a both and situation where really, yes, we do need to worship the Lord, but we also need to be loving our neighbor as ourselves and really leading the congregation with us.
How about you? We would love to know your stories and your thoughts on this in the comments below.
And don't forget to click subscribe if you want to catch more of our worship myths every week.